Welcome back to 5 Minute Knives, the channel that knows what time it is. It's 4:55 p.m. Mountain Time. Today, we're going to talk about how I feel about the lights I use on the daily. These are the lights that I use in my personal life. I have other lights, but these are the only ones I really use for the most part. Everything else is stashed in bags and kind of put away or up on a shelf or, saved for a giveaway for you guys or something like that. But these are the lights I use. Now, some of them are fairly new to my collection, so my opinion on them is kind of newer, and it will evolve by the time I get to dedicated reviews on each. But on a whole, I wanted to give you guys a clear picture of what I use to illuminate my nights. And by the end of this video, you will probably have a few models that you never thought about that you may be researching, based on what I say. Hopefully, that's the idea. Okay, the first light we're going to get into is my Rockstar. Now, this is the light I use on duty. You guys know that I do private security. And I have to say, since I purchased this light, I got the PD36R Pro, I think. I don't have it on me because I gave it to a friend. I loved that light. That was the first Phoenix light I had bought. It had a hell of a throw on it, really high candela. I don't have all the numbers on me. This is just an opinion video. That being said, I had that 35. It's slightly smaller, and I loved it. Just a little bit too big for EDC for me. I like a semi-smaller light, but it was really good for duty. But since I carried it in a holster on my duty belt, I figured, well, why don't I just get the bigger one? It's gotta be more lumens, more throw, so why wouldn't I want that on duty? Because what I had found was, ever since I had picked up my first Phoenix light, I didn't have to use my OC spray anymore for anything. I have not touched it in the field again. I have not sprayed anybody. And the reason being is, when there's something going on and I feel a little threatened, I can use this. I shine this in someone's face, and then I can ask them questions, and I feel fairly safe. There's not much they can do. It's really great. I never would have thought of like a super bright light in place of OC spray or a taser. And I'll carry both. But that being said, I haven't had to touch them since I got my light. Now, once I upgraded to this guy, this is the PD36R Pro. I gave my 35 to a good friend, and she's been using it ever since, and I'm really proud that she likes it. It's an awesome light. The only thing I didn't like about that 35 was you had to unscrew the tail cap, take the battery out, and charge it that way. And with this one, we have a dedicated charging port right here, which some of you guys may not like, but there it is. Some guys like that you have to charge on the battery itself because it makes it slightly more waterproof. I don't plan on scuba diving with this anytime soon. I like a charger on the outside of my light. This is my preference, right? And that's the other thing, guys. I used to think it was firearms people were like the most nasty people on YouTube. It's not. It's flashlight people. They're the nastiest. In particular, Olight fam. They're the worst. We're going to talk about them pretty soon. Anyway, Phoenix. I love Phoenix. And I love my PD36R Pro. This thing's amazing. The tail cap here has 2 buttons. As you can see, I got my strobe oh shit button, and I got my everyday usual use button. Now this has momentary, this has constant, and then I can use the other button to cycle through the modes. I have used this thing to illuminate a parking lot before, several times. There's one of my sites, I had to check around the dumpsters. That was in the post orders, right? Check around the dumpsters for transient activity. I can't tell you how many times I was at one dumpster at the other end of the parking lot and shown this light at the other dumpster and had some guy freak out and jump a fence and run away. Happened all the time. Saved me a walk. I still go down there and check it out, but like, it's really nice knowing that it's probably clear, okay? And for crowd control, I sweep this and everybody hits the deck, they cover their eyes. It's really amazing. For you guys in law enforcement or doing some type of security work, highly, highly, highly recommend the PD36R Pro. This has been my favorite light I've ever used on duty, and I can tell you that with a straight face. I'm not lying. Hall of Fame light. I'll probably buy another one of these just to have it. Okay? The guys I work with are looking into this light now. Everybody wants it. Okay, moving on. Next light. This one was sent to me by a company that I'm new to, Nightcore, and this is the Mt2A Pro. This was just sent to me. Okay, I've been using it for a little over a month, maybe a little longer. A little longer sucker, it's thin, and we have this guy. So we have like 4 modes. It's a serviceable light. It's a good light. I did review this one already, so you can check that out. And it was funny, I got attacked in this review too for saying a couple things. It was so dumb. See the shoulders of this tail cap right here? All I said was, a lot of times in the dark, my fat thumb hits these shoulders and they're a little sharp. It's not the most pleasant experience. Like this guy, When I'm on duty, I keep my thumb here for strobe, and now I got this light. It's very intuitive. I can feel what's going on in the dark. I love that one. Of course, this guy I'm kind of new to. In the dark, I'll go to actuate the button and I'll hit the shoulder. See that? I hit the shoulder. And then I go, oh, okay. And the other thing I said that isn't my favorite thing about this light, it's a good light, I'll tell you that, is it has no momentary. There's no momentary, and I don't always like to click. You hear that? I don't always like making that noise, you know? Sometimes I like to be a little on the stealthier side. I come around the corner, okay, you know, right? And then I turbo you. But sometimes I like to just do this. Sometimes, you know, if I think something bad's coming my way, I go dark, you know? With this guy, I gotta click it off and on. Not the end of the world. I use it for around the house. It's a decent enough light. I've liked it so far. The other thing I noticed too is that I said my Phoenix lights tend to be a better fit and finish in that, like the tail cap, when I unscrew this, hear that? It's a very smooth threading, right? This guy feels a little gritty. Hear that? That's this. It just felt a little grittier to me. I thought the fit and finish was slightly better on my Phoenix stuff. It's not a bad light, but somebody attacked me. Idiot. Nightcore is far better in Phoenix. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. It's like, dude, I would love it if you used that tone with me standing 2 feet away. Please, please stand 2 feet away and talk to me like that. I would love that, my friend. I would love it. So anyway, the curse of having a YouTube channel, right? Moving on. Here's a light that I love for its simplicity, and this is the big brother to the king of all EDC lights, the Streamlight Micro. This is the Streamlight Macro. And I was very curious about this guy when I first saw it. Oh, the other thing about this Mt2A Pro that I forgot to mention, here's the battery here, and you got a 1600 milliamp battery, and you charge it right there. Okay, see that? That's where you charge it. That's not my favorite. Some guys prefer that because it makes it more waterproof, I guess. I like to charge directly to the light itself. Saves me some time, especially when I'm in a patrol car. So when I'm in a patrol car, I don't want to take a light apart, take a battery out, and have everything in 3 pieces while I'm charging it. I just take my USB charger, I plug into this, and I just let it sit in my dash, right? If I need it, I unplug it. I should have some charge. We're ready to rock, okay? I just prefer a light I can charge directly to. That's all. This one, you got to take it apart. Not a bad light, but again, there's a few things I don't like about it. I thought it was a little bit long for my taste. I like a shorter light. If I'm going to have a longer light, look, they're like the same length, only this one has a way higher output, way longer throw, the whole 9. Comparable to the Mt2A is the Macro, and this one has 2 modes, high and low. That's it. That's what you got. You got momentary, you got constant. If you want to charge this one, here's a downside. It's got the old USB micro, so it's not the USB-C that you guys like. You pull that out and you push this back in and it seals an O-ring in there. The button is really responsive on this guy. I love it. The only thing I don't like about this one is sometimes my thumb will go to actuate this and I always hit it, right? But I can feel the metal ridge here. I can feel this ridge. It's just not the funnest. I wish this was a little bit proud. Some of you guys care about whether or not you can balance a light like a candle. This one you can't. This one you possibly could, but it would just be really awkward. There you go. It's just so skinny it's going to fall down easily. This one you cannot, of course, so most of them you can't, by the way. Most of my favorite lights you can't balance. This one you can't either. Now this takes me to my favorite EDC light, possibly ever, and this is the Phoenix PD36R. I absolutely adore this light. It gets everything right that I didn't like with this or this. My fat thumbs fit in between these shoulders really easily. Okay, I can index them in the dark. I have momentary, I have constant, I have my different modes via a switch right here that gives me my charging indicator. So I can actuate my different modes. And for such a small light, this light doesn't have a crazy high lumen stat to it. It has really high candela. So this has got like a really good throw. Here's your low, and we go up to high, down, and then there's my momentary. I love this light. The clip works really well. Little on the chunkier side, in this dimension, a little fat in the belly, but I don't mind this little nugget. Between this and this, I have become an absolute fan of Phoenix. Love these lights. Use this one every night for duty when I'm working. Use this one every day when I'm out and about personally. These are my 2 go-tos. It's just like my mainstay. Speaking of Hall of Fame EDC lights, the Streamlight Macro. USB rechargeable. This is the old USB Micro, and this is pull push O-ring style. But this one is such a little guy. I love how skinny and thin it is. This is for when I'm wearing something where I don't want the bulk of this light. I'll go to something like this just so I have it on me. Now there's varieties of this. I have the tan and the black here, and they're identical with the exception of the tan starts in high output, the black starts in low output. So here's your high, and then we switch to low. Here's your low, and we switch to high. That's it. 250 lumens, I believe, if memory serves. And these are Hall of Famers. So if you want to start in high lumens, you're going to want to get the tan. If you want to start in low lumens, which I generally do, looking for keys and such, get the black. And I used to use this all the time when I had a patrol car that had the dome light out because we'd switch them up a lot. And those patrol cars just get chewed up. So sometimes I'd hook my pinky around here and do my paperwork like with a muted light like this. So this would go into my vest on the outside of my armor. And I would just kind of click this or use the momentary here to do my paperwork. And if I thought somebody was coming, I can go dark again. Streamlight, USB Micro, amazing. The Macro, also amazing. These are great, great lights. As far as like EDC, who's the king, the Macro or the Micro, I would kind of go towards the Micro. Although you do have a much higher output with the Macro. So something to consider. And this is not like a fat light by any means. It's slightly thinner than my favorite, by the way. So there's that. Moving on, I know, kind of like disjointed video, but I just wanted to run you guys through what I actually use. We're going to get into dedicated reviews later on. This light was just sent to me by a company called Sofirn, S-O-F-I-R-N. This is the SC13. They asked me to review this. People keep sending me flashlights, so I'm going to review them. Here's your USB recharging port here, and that's the C that we're using, which is good. I like that it's on the outside, which is nice. The tail cap is magnetic, but it's non-actuation. You do have a little lanyard spot there. And this one just works solely with a button right here, which I don't mind. And it's got 3 modes. Bing, bong, boom. That's it. So this one only has 3 modes. I really like the simplicity of it. And a turbo, so 4 modes. But yeah, this one came with a clip that I hated. It's in the box somewhere. We're going to get into it in the dedicated review. But I absolutely hated this clip. It scratched the finish immediately. It hung in a weird spot. It was like stainless. Didn't really work with it. So I didn't like it. So I took it off right away. I like this little guy as is, little nug. And I think it's cute. I've been working with this one for about 2 weeks now, and I really like it. Using it around the house. It's really nice. I like the little magnetic bottom on this. They stick it on stuff. Great light. Okay, moving on. The only Olight product I still use is their O bulb. Okay, this is the Pro S. And a couple of things I don't like about this one. I got this one to replace my old O bulb that I've always had that I accidentally left in a hotel room, which sucked. This one's slightly bigger, which I preferred the smaller size. The one I had was simpler in its function. It had a dedicated red light, which I used in patrol, which I actually really liked, especially when I had a dome light out. I would use red light. This doesn't have the red light. I got like this pink, but it does have this function where I can go dimmer or brighter, which I suppose is handy. That's cool. Here's like wobbly rainbow function, off. Okay, then we have this light, bright, dim, not bad, pretty cool. Magnetic bottom. Okay, this just changes color gradually, gets brighter, dimmer. This one, a little rainbow, and then we got this. It's kind of useless to me. Is that appearing true on the camera? I don't know, but yeah, it's okay. I could do without a lot of these functions. I don't know. It's kind of like a toy in that way. I still use this at night, and the closest thing I have to the red light is this pink. And I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but this is pink. And it works well. It's a little convoluted though. Like at night, half asleep, I will often turn it on and I just want to use this pink light, and I find myself going to this rainbow and getting discombobulated by that. And then sometimes I'll press it and make it too bright, and I'll go, okay, and that'll go down. Sometimes I'll try to turn it off and, you know, screw it up in some way. So it's not as intuitive as my older version of the simpler O bulb, which also had a motion detection on that. I don't know if this one does. There's a charger where if you leave it in the charger and something walks by, it'll turn on. I do like that. I used to use it outside my bedroom. This is the only Olight product I still use, and it's a little wonky and I'm still getting used to it. And the main reason I don't use any other Olight products is I'm not a fan of the company. A lot of their lights get too hot and end up causing me problems that way. I had a light burn through a holster in my Hill People Gear chest rig. the Valkyrie Pro, and really the main thing is we touched on how nasty flashlight people can be. The worst of the bunch by far are Olight people, the Olight fam. They are the worst people on the internet, in my opinion. I've never met someone that would go to war for a Chinese company with a stranger over giving their opinion on one of their products. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand it. It's very cult-like mentality that freaks me out. And really, it's the O fam that has turned me off Olight forever. As a company, I probably would have bought something here and there, but the fact that these people are so rabid for Olight makes me want to stay away from Olight forever. I'm just not into that kind of groupthink, hive-minded, cult-like, attack a stranger for an opinion kind of vibe. That's not my deal. Anyway, that being said, moving on to another company that I've never heard of. They just sent me their stuff for the first time. This is Wuben, W-U-B-E-N. They just sent me this. And this is a headlamp that I've been wearing around the house like a miner recently. And it's pretty cool. I can kind of turn it up and down and actuate it that way. Let me see if I can get this right too. I think I pull this out. Yep. And this is really neat too, because I kind of have, you know, as a lot of us, I have like a go to war vest, right? With like, you know, my cranky mechanisms and, you know, my cranky blades. So if rule of law ever failed, I would put that on and go outside and make sure my street wasn't chaos, right? Well, this light's actually pretty good for something like that. We have a little clip here, and I can clip this on the front of my Molly vest and actuate it, and it's actually fairly bright. So I could use this, I could use it in the headlamp variety, and I really like it. The button is this like hinge door here where you open it up and you got USB-C charging. I really like the way the clip was done. Dedicated reviews on all of these coming soon. I just think this is badass. This is magnetic, well thought out, well done. I want to say this is like $80. So it's a really cool light. I like it a lot. And I'm really happy with Wuben for sending me this one. It's 1100 milliamps and 3.7 volt, right? If that means anything to you. But it's like a nice compact little design here. And then when you get it in this guy, it's just like a home run package. Look at this. Boom. We're ready to rock and bowl. So I throw this on my head, got my cranky gear on, we're ready to go. My street is safe, my neighbors are safe, I'm a happy camper, and I just do my patrols, man. If anything bad ever happens again, I do have some good gear for it. And really, I think that when bad things happen, it's a flashlight is your go-to. It's like the first thing that you're gonna need. The rock star of the bunch to me is the PD36R Pro. I absolutely love this light, and for everyday use, I couldn't be happier with the PD25R. This guy just makes me happy everywhere I go. I always have the coolest little EDC light on me. It's just so nice. It's so nice. Very, very cool. And a lot of these you can use like the CR123 battery in its place. You get a slightly different output and some of the functions won't be available. And a few of those lights work like that. This one can use standard batteries, you know, and a couple of them, this one. And I think that's actually really, really neat. It's very versatile. And if I can't get to a charging port or something like that, I can always just grab a battery and bring that with. So very, very nice. But if I had to pick my favorite out of all these, it's the PD36R Pro, of course, and then the PD25R, both from Phoenix. And now you guys see why I'm a fan of Phoenix. Why wouldn't I be? That's really cool. If you make two products that I use all the time, that I love to death, that I'm really happy with, that work all the time, that are responsive, that solve all my needs for whatever I'm doing, either work related or in my personal life, why wouldn't I report that to my audience and tell you guys honestly that I love these Phoenix lights on a personal level? We haven't talked about numbers. We haven't talked about outputs really. I haven't crunched all the data with you on these flashlights. That's not it. I'm giving you an overall picture of how I feel about these lights. And I think that that's somehow more telling, you know, for a lot of people. For me, this is just really intuitive, you know, and they both operate like each other. So it's kind of like that Old West mentality of having like a rifle and a pistol in the same caliber. I kind of feel like that about having two lights of different sizes with a similar mode of function. You know, they both feel familiar when I pick them up. So these guys are my rock stars. And then I use these other ones all the time. This one I've been using a lot because I've been trying to test it, right? This one I've been wearing around like a goon because it's fun and I enjoy the versatility of it. I really love that this can go on the front of my Molly attachments and just make me like RoboCop. I think that's really neat. This one I'm still getting used to, but I love the idea of an O bulb. I just hate the O fam, and I want to arm wrestle you guys and break all your arms, personally. Other than that, This Nightcore is pretty good. I had somebody attack me in the comments and being like, Nightcore is far superior to Phoenix. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. You should shut your channel down. Just stick to knives. Yo, man, calm down. Let me arm wrestle you. You know what I mean? You got your opinions. I got an arm. I just thought that this one didn't work for me because it didn't have momentary. The shoulders hit my thumb. It's a little on the long side. And the fit and finish when I screw and unscrew this thing seems a little rougher than my Phoenix stuff, which has smooth threading. That's all I said. I just reported what I've noticed. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a flashlight guy. Well, I'm becoming one. But I'm not really into the technical aspects of the flashlights. I just like how they work and whether or not they work for me. That's it. And then finally, our micros. So really, like, the best lights on this table, in my opinion, are these three. That being said, I've really enjoyed this little guy for its simplicity, and this headlamp I have a feeling is going to be with me long term. So these are cool lights, definitely. Like these two, I've never heard of these companies before. So that's here, Sofern, right? And Wubenskis. Wubens. This who sent me the headlamp. Okay, just so you know. You guys let me know what you know about Sofern and Wuben. I've never heard of them. But then again, I'm new to a lot of these. I didn't know Nightcore existed before somebody yelled at me for saying that I didn't like aspects of it. The Streamlight Macro I've always wanted, and I'm happy with my purchase. It's surprisingly, I bought this to be my EDC light, and I find myself going to this more. It's just more satisfying to use. The tail cap I like more. It's a little on the shorter side, which I like. A little more chunky, but it's fine. I don't mind it at all. I just like the added throw. And if I could go outside and show you guys right now, this has more throw than this. We can do research as we go down the road, and I will do dedicated reviews of all these guys for sure, but this is my opinion. Out of the lights I have on the table, do you guys have any experience with these? And if so, what are your favorites? Do you like Phoenix? Are you into Nightcore? Are you a Streamlight guy? Have you ever heard of the Sofern? Have you ever heard of Wuben? Right? And if you're one of the OFAM, you OFAMers, where do you people come from? And I'd like to know who hurt you. Who hurt you, OFAM? Because I don't know what made you people so nasty. I'm allowed not to like something, you crazy people. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know I just rambled, but like it's kind of a rambly video. It's more just like what I use, and I want your guys' feedback. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate yous, love yous, most of yous. The ones I don't, but the ones I do, I do. And I will see you guys next time on 5 Minute Knives.